bear man. There's frozen bear man. Today in Anchorage, Alaska, it's 26 degrees. Here in Massachusetts, 9 degrees with a -10 wind chill. And what am I doing out here? What's this silly man doing out here? Well, I'm prepared. Plenty of clothing. I mean, look at this. I got lots of stuff going on. This stuff may look silly. There's a reason why Elmer Fudd wore this hat all the time. I didn't come out in this extreme cold weather like a silly man. Oof, almost tripped right there. All right, point one. Safety, way more important than me trying to get good shots or whatever, making things look awesome. It would be really silly in these conditions. Try to set up the camera and be like, let me get some elaborate angles. No, man, so I have all the right clothing. I have a -30 jacket. I have -50 boots. You've heard me talk about them and use them before. That's vital. I got Elmer Fudd up in the house. Looks silly, but you have to wear an extreme warm hat. And in my opinion, these are their best. So it's getting dark. The sun is going down. And really, without a fire, after a while, even with this clothing, it's not going to be too good. Thank God there's no wind. But with a little breeze, you got -10 going on. I'm going to go to one of my shelter spots. I also didn't come out here to just be exposed. I'm going to get a fire going on down at one of my places. Gotta go. I really got to be extra slow and careful here. Yeah, I got reception and my phone would get me help, but God forbid if you had a really unlucky day and next thing you know your phone breaks, you lose it, and then you hurt yourself. If you were out here in these extreme conditions and sprained your ankle really bad, or it would take a long time to get back to the car. Doesn't seem that far, but if you're hurt, very far. So let me just get to the site and stop. Some of this terrain is not wise to sit here with the camera. Can you see the shelter? We are at the old site. You know it's awesome, guys. See all the snow surrounded? Look at how dry it is in here. Look at how dry that is. Oh, that's fantastic. That means that you'd be protected in the snow, obviously. So, let me go ahead. Fire. Absolute priority. You guys see how dark it's getting? When my fingers are exposed for just like a minute, I already start feeling like, ooh, doesn't no good. One more thing before I get the fire going. You obviously should have a lighter. I got a lighter on me, but the thing is, if I drop my lighter in the snow or just leave it exposed in the cold for 10 minutes, that thing's probably not even gonna light. It needs to be warm. If you have a lighter, keep it with you. But this is definitely probably gonna get me fire. Hopefully. Let's go. Man, it's so funny because I talk about how lucky we are in the Northeast to always have birch bark available, but I looked everywhere. We don't have that. I looked for some pine sap as accelerant, and there's not many sappy trees here. So I gathered all these leaves, dry leaves, and this is what I'm gonna have to do, man. Gotta get a giant bundle for this to work. Having a tough time here. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Oh, come on, baby. Come on. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. This is super, super important fire to get going because I'm not messing around here. This is actually extreme weather. I don't want to sit here and freeze. Oh. Gotta stick with really tiny pieces here. Tiny pieces. Oh, thank God. Don't want to smother it though. Second you start putting big pieces on this tiny little guy. It's a baby. What do you do when an adult falls down on a baby? you're gonna squash it and kill it. So you gotta kind of give it life. First it's tiny like a baby, and then a toddler, then it gets bigger and bigger, and that's kind of the process that you do as far as the size of wood that you're gonna put on the fire. You need yourself a big fire if you're a negative 10-degree wind chill. Luckily there's no wind right now, no breeze. You need a huge fire, guys. You can see that even though it snowed recently, this stayed dry. I'd be able to stay pretty warm as long as I kept this fire going. You need yourself a huge fire. I have a lighter on me. Always bring a lighter in a situation like this. My car is a half a mile away, so I'm not like deep in the wilderness. I'm in the forest. However, if my phone died and I got hurt, I would be in big trouble. That's why it's so key to be able to know how to get a fire in different ways, different types of tinder to use. I didn't have birch bark to use this time, so I found a whole bunch of dried leaves. And then make sure you understand the process of the fire. It starts off as a baby, and then a toddler, and then a kid and a teenager. Think of that when you're thinking about the size of the wood that you put on the fire. So make sure you're smart, stay safe. This feels comfortable. I can't believe it's so cold. There's nobody out right now around here, but I'm crazy. Am I crazy? I wouldn't do this if I didn't take the time over the years to know how to get a fire going. I love sharing this with you guys. I love this is great. I'm just following my passion, and for some strange reason, I'm the weirdo who loves coming out here in 9-degree weather and demonstrating what to do. Now, this is super important for hikers, especially up in the mountains. If you're hiking in the wintertime, always bring a lighter, and it's good to have a ferro rod, because if you don't get a fire, there's been situations people have gotten lost and they ended up dying of hypothermia from the elements because they just didn't have a lighter or didn't have a ferro rod and know some of the correct things, some of the types of things to be able to get a fire and the process, so that way once you get the fire, you keep the fire. What are you doing on this chilly night? Oh, you know, just being a weirdo in the woods.
Dear Law, I am Russian today. I'm not trying to make fun of Russian man, but there is a reason they wear this type of hat when they're in cold weather. You have to wear right thing for head so you are protected.
I had my gloves off for 5 minutes, and they felt so cold. I mean, you can feel the extreme difference. Wool is amazing. That's why I bring wool gloves, because even when they get wet, they kind of like dry quickly. I don't know what it is, but your hands still feel warmer even when they get damp. But they're not damp right now. They're very dry. And that's why I wear that wool sweater that you see all the time that I've had for years. Because wool is seriously such a good thing to have in extreme weather. It kind of makes sense, right? Animal skin, and they're built to withstand the cold. I'm not staying here. This isn't the right shelter anyways for it. I didn't build this shelter a while back for this type of cold weather. So I'm gonna go home. This was just a demonstration and everything. I would never try to fake anything and say, hey, I was staying over here in this cold weather. It's also not smart unless you are even more prepared and you had time to be able to set up the perfect shelter. But this shelter's not gonna do it. Know what I mean? Footsteps. It's all about retracing your steps. Don't forget that, especially in these conditions. And I'm going extra slow, because you cannot hurt yourself, sprain an ankle or anything. So in these conditions, super slow. Check out the frozen beard, guys. Frozen beard man. It's frozen beard man. Oh my God. Look at this. I gotta keep on moving. I'm just gonna be safe, so I'm just gonna get to the car. You can't even see me. It is so cold. My fingers are so cold. and you just can't mess around with this weather. So I demonstrated, and now I go home because you have to be smart. Take it easy. Make sure you like and subscribe.